Здравствуйте, меня зовут Petrit Hasani, и я буду говорить с вами о дефиците адресов IPv4.
We have been talking about IPv4 exhaustion for quite a while now. So you might remember some articles from 2012. This time is the real thing. We have really run out. And we've said similar stuff before as well. So how did this actually start, and are we running out? So the first considered runout was in 2011, when IANA, the Internet Assigned Number Authority, depleted their pool and provided each of the regional internet registries with 1/8 each. So at that time, an email was sent to everyone saying that IANA has depleted, IPv4 is over. But then 1 year later, RIPE NCC sent another email in 2012, September 2012, saying that we exhausted IPv4 now. So what did that actually mean? What did the exhaustion mean for our members and for us? Exhaustion of IPv4 in September 2012 meant that the way we distribute addresses changed drastically. Before September 2012, each member could come to the RIPE NCC with their current needs, and we would provide them with as much address space as it was needed for them. But from September 2012 onwards, the community decided that we're going to go out slowly, so we will give to each member only 1/22 of IPv4. The other regional internet registries had similar soft landing approaches, whilst ARIN, the American Internet Registry, went full out. So this is the current pool. I updated it yesterday, so it should be quite accurate. But last year, in April 2018, you received another email from us saying that we depleted another part of our pool. So we depleted the 185/8 pool. What does this mean? So we were not currently distributing new addresses anymore. We're currently only distributing addresses which we recovered through the years. And the pool is depleting quite rapidly. At the current rate, we do expect that we will run out in January 2020, but that depends a lot from the new requests that we receive. We are seeing a trend of more requests coming in with the runout coming closer. So that date could be a lot quicker than January 2020. So what's for sure is that this will be the last ENOG meeting before our remaining pool is fully exhausted. So what is going on now? What will happen from this moment until the moment that we fully deplete our pool? Well, at the moment, we're providing our members with contiguous /22s from the returned address space pool. But after a few months, that pool will be depleted. So we'll be giving smaller allocation blocks. So we might give you 2/23s or even 4/24s. And when we cannot give an equivalent of a /22 anymore, full runout will be announced. And we do have a pool which the community put aside, saying that this will be used for unforeseen circumstances. It's only a /16, and the policy states that in case that we do not need it from the moment that we run out, we will actually use this pool to distribute to our members as well. What are we considering at the moment is how can we handle runout in a fair, transparent, and efficient way? How up until now, it didn't really matter if we approved somebody's request 5 minutes earlier or 5 minutes later, but we need to be more careful from now on, and we want to be transparent about it, and all requests will be approved in the first come in, first out method. We want to inform our members that it may be the possibility that even if they become members, we will not be able to satisfy their request for an IPv4 allocation, because from the time that they request to become member to the time that they submit the allocation, our pool might be already over. And we're currently doing a lot of changes to our software to make sure that it works fine during the runout period. So at the moment that we give out the final /22 allocation, what happens next? Will IPv4 be over? Will we finally have reached out, and will this be our last email of IPv4 runout? Well, we do have a little bit of IPv4 space remaining. So we have a /13 for temporary assignments, which can be used for conferences similar to this one, or research. We have a /16 pool for IXPs, Internet Exchange Points, which we expect to last for the next 3 or 4 years. And we have some IPv4 dust. IPv4 dust is some address space smaller than a /24. So we have some /25s, /26, that we would really not like to distribute to our members. We noticed this during the previous runout in 2012, that this is address space which members cannot announce on the internet, so we would not like to give out to our members. And we still have some address space being returned back to us. The reasons for closure could be for returning, the member goes into bankruptcy or liquidation, or the member does not pay us our bills. And there could be policy violations or RIPE NCC procedural violations as well. So what should we do with this address space that we get back? Normally, we cannot keep it ourselves because it does not make any point for us to keep address space in our registry when there are networks out there that might need it. So considering that the IPv4 policy states that we need to give this address space back to our members, we were thinking that a waiting list would be the best possible way for us to give this address space back. There are currently a few policy discussions going on the subject. Actually, during the RIPE 77 meeting last year, we brought to the attention of our community that if we start distributing /22s from the waiting list, looking at the allocation rate that we are having now and the addresses that we're getting back, that will be done within the single day. And the waiting list will grow exponentially over the years, and members will be there a long time. So we propose to the community that if they think that it would be better to change the allocation size during the waiting list to a /24. And there is currently a policy discussion for that going on, 2019-02, and I think today is the last day which you can comment on it. So if you believe it to be correct, please do so. The policy says that at the moment that we reach runout exhaustion, the RIPE NCC will start distributing /24 IPv4 allocations, not /22 anymore. This is a model that we projected based on the 2017 allocation rate and considering the returned address space that we got over the last 3 years. So as you can see with the /22 IPv4 allocation, the waiting list will grow forever and we will not be able to satisfy our members. Whilst with /24 allocation, it might be a bit better. There are still some members which can get a /24 and it can be useful before they fully deploy IPv6. We raised a few other questions during the RIPE 77. One of them was, do we need to grow the IXP pool? The community had reserved a /16 for IXP assignments, and considering that IXPs are really important to the global internet, do you think that we need to add some more address space to the IXP pool? And currently, last week, there was a new policy proposal going on which proposes to raise the IXP pool from a /16 to a /15. Again, if you agree or do not agree with this policy, please give your feedback on the mailing list. The second one is, what should we do with the /16 for unforeseen circumstances? Should we keep it for a bit more? Maybe we might need it. We did not receive any feedback directly about this, but we did receive indirect feedback from the IXP policy. The IXP policy states that we need to exchange the pool from a /16 to a /15, and the easiest way to do that would be to take the unused /16 from the unforeseen circumstances and put it there. And what should be done with IPv4 dust? As we said, we really don't want to give IPv4 dust to members. It's address space which cannot be used by them. So this is currently being addressed in both policies. The IPv4 waiting list implementation policy says that RIPE NCC should keep this address space until another block next to it comes along to make it a bigger block, whilst the other policy states that it can be used for IXP assignments. So as a product of IPv4 scarcity, there are two subjects which we are seeing, which have been seeing. The first one is transfers, and this was a community response. It was implemented in 2008, long before the runout of the RIPE NCC. And because the community said that our priority is an accurate registry, so it would be best to have transfers in place. At the moment, transfers happen between LIRs as well as end users, and can be within our service region and outside our service region, considering that there is a 24-month limitation on transfers. So if you receive an IPv4 block, you cannot transfer it within 24 months. So even though the policy was implemented in 2008, we saw the first transfer only in 2012, in October 2012. So only then did the members really see a need to start doing transfers, only when RIPE NCC had reached runout. And in 2015, the community introduced inter-RIR transfers as well. So here are some numbers. As we can see that from 2017 to 2019, the number of transfers that we're seeing is slowly increasing. The bars in 2017 are a bit lower, in 2018 a bit higher, and 2019 are getting even higher as well. So how much are we getting from this region? This is the number of IP addresses transferred in the ENOG region. As we can see, for example, Georgia seems to be transferring address space within the country, whilst Kazakhstan or Moldova seem to be the two countries which are importing IPv4 address space. And the two biggest exporters are Russia, Ukraine. And that's the number of actual transfers in the region. How are we doing with the other regional internet registries? So RIPE NCC joined only in 2015, so a few years later than ARIN and IPNIC had started transfers, inter-RIR transfers. But we have caught up, and we have an even distribution with IPNIC, so the numbers are more or less, whilst from Erin, we can see that we're receiving a lot more space that we're giving back. And with the increase in the number of transfers, what we're seeing is an increase in the number of disputes over IP addresses. So we're seeing disputes in transfers and disputes in LIR accounts. So please update your LIR contacts when people leave the organization. Please protect your IP registrations. We're trying to do our best to do the same. Especially, we are noticing that if your contact details have not been changed for a long time, people are targeting those blocks. So please make sure to update your contact information. So this has resulted in a lot of actions from the RIPE NCC. During the last 4 years, we have had an increase in the number of investigations. On the left, you can see the number of investigations that we have had, as well as in the due diligence reminders, warnings, closures as well, and we have had a lot of disputed transfers. So what does this actually mean? So there is a new way of looking for IPv4 addresses. So the concept is changing. Before September 2012, the concept was that IP addresses are plentiful, available, whilst now they are a scarce resource. And we always used to say before that IP addresses do not have any value. But that's not really true. They're being sold as a commodity. And most IP addresses are not coming, IPv4 addresses are not coming from the regional internet registries anymore, but they're being transferred within members. So they're being received from members. So what does this mean for the RIPE community? An extension of the IPv4 as a technology, maybe slower deployment of IPv6, slower IPv6 adoption, and there are new actors in the RIPE policy development and the RIPE community in general. So we, differently from before that we had people who got IP addresses to use in their network, now we have actors who get IP addresses just to sell them again. What does this mean for the RIPE NCC? Well, it impacts the dynamic between RIPE NCC and our members. We have to take stronger due diligence checks, so please bear with us. The reason we're doing it is to protect your internet number resources, is to protect your registries. So in case we're asking to do more checks according to our published procedures, it is more to protect your registries. And we're trying to keep a balance between the checks that we say and not making the processes really bureaucratic for you. What does this mean for you? Well, as I said before, make sure that you're keeping your LIR account up to date. Make sure your contact information is up to date. If somebody leaves the organization, please remove them from the LIR registry. You're tempting them into doing something bad, and you're not leaving your account unsecure. We're seeing more cases involving bad actors in the transfer deals. If a Nigerian prince offers you a /16 with a really nice price, well, do your checks, make sure it's the real thing. And IPv6 is the most important part. Make sure to be IPv6 ready. With the IPv4 depletion, there would be no more place to grow in IPv4, so please be an advocate for IPv6 in your region.
Can we come back to slide 28, please? So here, we have final warnings indicated. And why, before the closure of our LEO, we did not receive any final warning? Как мы сказали и раньше, извиняюсь, мы не можем сейчас совершенно конкретные случаи и кейсы обсуждать здесь, потому что это вопрос как бы приватный, и закрытие членов может происходить, исходя из какой-то ситуации, может быть направлено final warning. Вот если мы получили, допустим, поддельные документы, то тогда, в общем-то, будет направлено это warning. Но я сейчас не могу говорить о конкретных кейсах. I think that in any case, this topic will have to be discussed because Russian LIR, и поверьте мне, вам будут задавать этот вопрос российские участники, и не только российские участники будут задавать вот этот вопрос, и мы продолжим эту дискуссию. Теперь я хотел бы еще...
I'm speaking English.
Translation is going into Russian language.
Yeah. So we have a question from our chat. So you can try to
Итак,
use Telegram chat
вы
or
можете
IRC
использовать
chat,
Telegram чат или IFC
if you are watching
чат.
webcast.
Особенно
So how many /22s are left for distribution in tribe region in numbers?
I think there are about 3,700, more or less. I cannot say exactly. But.
Okay, thank you very much. Next question.
Кирилл Маливанов, компания Selectel.
Sorry, now it's Russian.
Буду говорить по-русски,
I'll be
здесь
speaking
большинство
Russian
понимает.
because majority of participants, they speak Russian. Now, with regard to /16 for unforeseen circumstances and /13 for different conferences, events, etc., what actual real-life cases of conferences, research, etc. you have, and what can be the examples for unforeseen circumstances for which you reserve these /13 and /16 numbers? /13. Итак, конференции. Вот аналогичные нашей конференции. Если вы проводите конференцию, обычно конференция длится где-то 2-3 дня, и мы предоставляем IP, который может быть использован на время конференции. Что же касается размера, то размер зависит от масштабов конференции. Вот этот пул для непредвиденных обстоятельств, собственно, RAP community, так сказать, вот зарезервировала.
To be used for stuff that we cannot foresee, and it has not been used until now.
Спасибо.
Для трансляции в IP18, например.
По поводу пыли, IPv4 пыли. Проводились ли
I'm interested to
исследования?
know whether or not you have conducted research and studies as to who holds /25, 26, 27, so where those are vacated. В данном случае мы говорим о дасте.
So these were done a long time ago when we were giving small PI assignments, and that's how we received them back. But these are part of our return pool. We're not giving them to members. But I
I see the minimal routable block in
Is
IPv4 is /24, and I see /25 was given to some company as PI assignment, but another /25 is given to another company. But this 25 is still routable in global internet, so it lays within a large routable block. Why can't we just expand /25 in existing PI for any free /25?
The reason is easy because we need a policy proposal for that. The way we distribute internet number resources is not the RIPE NCC who decides, it's you, the community, who decides. So if you make policy proposal for that, we'd be happy to do it. And the community approves, definitely.
Спасибо.
Очень быстро. И по-английски.
Grigori Sagyan, Armenia, ISOC Armenia. So you have an excellent opportunity to accelerate IPv6 implementation. If you will close any distribution of IPv4, do you have such question discussed?
May I answer? Yes. Some community members proposes such things. Yeah, you may add to the question.
It's not up to us to decide, as I said that before. There are some members who have said that before. We should stop IPv4 to allow IPv6, better IPv6 deployment. But the real fact is that there is still some networks which are IPv4 only, so members will still need some kind of a small IPv4 blocks to connect to that part of the internet.
Okay, thank you very much.